I'd like to talk about the importance of laughter and humour, or humour and laughter. But before we do that, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Ghazala. I'm at the Heart and Soul Cafe. If you've been here before, thank you so much for coming back. And if you're here for the first time, you're very, very welcome. So the importance of humour and laughter. Now, I've talked in previous videos about stress hormones and how it's important that we reduce those because they have an on switch, they don't really have an off switch. And so we need to find ways of reducing cortisol and other stress hormones when we're high, with them. Because being high with, high stress, being highly stressed a lot of the time isn't good for us mentally or physically in any way. It's not going to have a positive effect in any way at all. So we need to find ways of reducing those hormones. And one of the ways we can reduce stress is by smiling, laughing, and with humor. So what happens when we are smiling and laughing and we, talk in a way where we are, making others laugh and we are laughing ourselves? Well, certain hormones such as serotonin, which is the happy hormone, is stimulated and secreted. Endorphins, again, endorphins, we get those when we're doing exercise as well. So those are also stimulated, and dopamine. And dopamine is that reward hormone. If you imagine yourself, your favorite piece of cake is in the fridge, and you get that, you eventually get the cake out from the fridge, and you take your first bite, spoonful of the cake. That feeling that you get, that hit, that sugar rush, or whatever you want to call it, but that sense of is the dopamine. That's the dopamine hit. Okay, so it's that good feeling, sense of reward. And when we stimulate these happy hormones, we are then reducing cortisol, adrenaline, norepinephrine, all the negative sort of hormones that you don't need on a day-to-day basis, unless there's a lion chasing after you down the street, or the fire alarm goes off and you're trying to run out of a burning building, or there's been some kind of, sadly, some kind of road traffic accident or something where you need to be in that emergency mode. So when I talk about, because lots know that I deliver mental health first aid training online and face to face, and although I'm talking about quite emotive subjects such as depression, anxiety, suicidality, and I'm talking about eating disorders and self-harming and all sorts of things I'm talking about, I still try and bring a little bit of humour into it, not at the expense of anyone else, or at the expense of, or towards the importance of the subject that I'm talking about. It's usually a joke on me. It's usually when I'm telling stories about my own experiences in certain things that I will add some kind of humour, and it just lightens the mood. It helps people actually feel psychologically safe, and I've done a video about that, and the importance of how people need to feel psychologically safe in order to thrive and strive. And what else does it do? It, when those happy hormones are present, it makes people feel relaxed, psychologically safe, but also their sense of creativity is stimulated. So they might have an ability to think a little bit outside the box, which is a good thing for coming up with new ideas and looking at things from other different perspectives. So it enhances and stimulates a sort of a more flexible way of learning, thinking outside the box. It helps to retain information, because there's a certain part of your brain, you think your prefrontal cortex is actually stimulated. It's really, and that's part of your brain that's stimulated, when you are feeling happy and, laughing and, engaging in humor. So it's actually doing so much positive work, and you don't really realize the importance of it. It helps people retain information, and I've sort of said that, but it also helps for people to have an experience that they remember. So the experience of delegates coming into my room and spending, so we've got a 2-day course, let's say. It could be that I go through the content of the 2 days of mental health first aid 2 days, and just reel it off and just make sure that they have all the information. And then we go into the assessment phase, and we do the assessment, and they've all passed, and they've got the certificate sent to them. Okay, fine. But if I make it a little bit more about me, sort of showing my personality and showing that I'm human too, and that I've had my own struggles and I have my own struggles, but yet, I'm here, I'm present, I'm working, I'm, progressing, I'm functioning, I'm, and I have the ability to laugh at myself and to see this funny side of, certain aspects of my life and certain things that I do, and I can share those with others and make other people laugh. It actually just sends such a good message. I see humor and laughing almost as a social, inclusive glue. Okay, it brings people together and joins people. It helps people to connect. It helps people to relate to others. We can all be sort of talking the same language almost if we can have a laugh about things and see the sort of funny side of things. So there's so many things to it, more than just going ha 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 ha. There's just so much more to it than that. There's so much that's happens physiologically, psychologically and emotionally, that we don't sort of really take we don't see that, and we don't maybe see the importance of it. We don't realize that it's actually a very important thing. So the power of laughter and humor is so valuable to incorporate these things into our daily lives wherever we can, because it brings people together, it helps connect people, it helps in learning, it helps in enhancing, that creativity, as I said, and helps people to learn, in a better way. So even though, and I sort of shared that in my introduction when I introduced myself right at the beginning of the training, and tell people who I am. But I also say that although, we are going to be talking about emotive subjects, and those can be triggering for some, and we need to look after everyone's mental health here. But also, we can still enjoy the process of learning and process of being, in each other's company, and that's important. So to have a few laughs, helps us get through the day, helps us make it more of a memorable experience, and helps us to retain information also, in a good way. So, yeah, the importance of humor and laughing, I think, is invaluable. So I hope you found the content of this video helpful. Please do share, like, subscribe, comment. I look forward to those comments, and thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. So, use that humor and laugh as much as you can, because it's good for you. Thank you.